Question 1. A sterile processing department, SPD, manager is auditing the facility's environmental logs to ensure the ventilation system meets national requirements. Which document serves as the primary authority for establishing the specific temperature and humidity parameters within the department? A. Association for the Advancement of Medical Instrumentation, AAMI, ST 79. B. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, 29 CFR 1910.1030. C. American National Standards Institute, ANSI, / American Society of Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers, ASHRAE, / American Society for Healthcare Engineering, ASH, 170. D. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, Guideline for Disinfection. Correct answer C. Knowledge point explanation. Core Rationale, Standard 170 by ANSI/ASHRAE/ASH provides the clinical engineering blueprints for healthcare ventilation, specifically defining the narrow ranges for temperature and humidity required to inhibit microbial growth in the SPD. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because while AAMI ST 79 is the Bible of steam sterilization, it references ASHRAE 170 for HVAC specifics. Option B is incorrect as OSHA focuses on bloodborne pathogen safety, not building environmental engineering. Option D is incorrect because the CDC provides broad infection control recommendations but does not write engineering standards for HVAC systems. Concept extension. In the decontamination area, the temperature must be kept between 60 degrees Fahrenheit and 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 16 degrees Celsius to 18 degrees Celsius, with humidity at 30% to 60% to protect staff wearing heavy personal protective equipment, PPE. Question 2. During a morning huddle, a sterile processing, SP, supervisor notices a technician wearing a wedding band and a wristwatch. Why is the removal of all jewelry mandatory before entering any clinical work zone in the department? A. These items are expensive and easily damaged by cleaning chemicals. B. Jewelry creates hidden crevices that harbor microorganisms and block effective hand hygiene. C. Wearing personal items in the work area violates local fire safety codes. D. Metallic jewelry can interfere with the magnetic fields of ultrasonic cleaners. Correct answer B. Knowledge point explanation. Core Rationale. From an infection prevention standpoint, jewelry acts as a reservoir for bacteria and fungi. Microorganisms hide in the grooves of rings and under watch bands, where they are shielded from the mechanical friction of hand washing, leading to potential cross-contamination. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because the rule is based on patient safety and hygiene, not the financial protection of the employee's property. Option C is incorrect as jewelry is a bioburden concern, not a fire hazard. Option D is incorrect because the primary risk of jewelry is biological contamination, not equipment interference. Concept extension. This prohibition also extends to artificial nails and nail polish, which can chip off and contaminate surgical sets. Question 3. An educator is training a new hire on the standardized hand-washing protocol. According to the Sterile Processing Technical Manual, what is the minimum required time for lathering and scrubbing the hands to remove transient flora? A. 10 seconds. B. 20 seconds. C. 45 seconds. D. 2 minutes. Correct answer B. Knowledge point explanation. Core Rationale. Hand hygiene is the most critical factor in stopping the spread of healthcare-associated infections, HAIs. A minimum of 20 seconds of vigorous scrubbing with soap and water is necessary to generate enough friction to physically detach and rinse away transient microorganisms from the skin surfaces. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because 10 seconds is insufficient to cover all surfaces of the hands and wrists effectively. Option C is longer than the required standard for routine hand hygiene. Option D is incorrect as it describes the duration of a full surgical scrub, which is a much more intensive process. Concept extension. Friction is the most important element of the hand-washing process. Hand hygiene must be performed after every glove removal because gloves can have microscopic holes. Question 4. A facility inspector asks the department head about the scope of the dress code policy. To which group of individuals do the departmental attire requirements apply? A. Only the SP technicians working in the decontamination room. B. Only hospital employees with clinical responsibilities. C. All persons who enter any area of the sterile processing department, SPD. D. Only students and temporary contract staff. Correct answer C. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. To maintain a controlled environment and limit the introduction of environmental contaminants, bioburden, dress code policies are universal. Anyone entering the SPD, including maintenance workers, managers, and vendors, must adhere to the specific attire requirements, e.g., scrubs, head covers, of that zone. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because dress codes apply to the entire department, though specific zones like decontamination require additional PPE. Option B is incorrect as administrative and support staff must also comply if they enter the work areas. Option D is incorrect because permanent staff are not exempt from infection control rules. Concept extension. Scrubs must be facility laundered because home laundering cannot reach the high temperatures required to kill resistant microorganisms. Question 5. While investigating a cluster of post-operative infections, the infection preventionist identifies a shared transport cart as a potential source of bacterial spread. In microbiology, what is the term for inanimate objects that facilitate the transmission of pathogens? A. Vectors. B. Fomites. C. Causative agents. D. Susceptible hosts. Correct answer B. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. Fomites are non-living materials, e.g., surgical tools, door handles, keyboards, that can carry infectious organisms. In the mode of transmission link of the chain of infection, fomites serve as the vehicle for indirect contact transmission. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because vectors are living organisms, like insects, that transmit disease. Option C is incorrect as the causative agent is the germ itself, the bacteria or virus, not the object it sits on. Option D is incorrect because a susceptible host is the person who becomes ill, not an inanimate object. Concept extension. Thorough cleaning of environmental surfaces and medical devices is the primary defense against the transmission of pathogens via fomites. Question 6. Environmental cleaning is a critical task in the Sterile Processing Department, SPD. To prevent the accumulation of bioburden and the aerosolization of microorganisms, how should floors be maintained according to standard protocols? A. Swept daily with a dry broom and mopped weekly. B. Wet mopped daily to remove soil and dust without spreading particles. C. Swept daily and polished with a high-speed buffer monthly. D. Cleaned only when visible organic soil is present on the surface. Correct answer B. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. In the SPD, preventing the suspension of dust and microorganisms into the air is paramount. Wet mopping daily ensures that contaminants are trapped in the liquid and removed, whereas sweeping or dry mopping, dust mopping, causes particles to become airborne, aerosolized, which can then deposit on clean instruments or sterile packages. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because dry sweeping is strictly forbidden as it aerosolizes dust. Option C is incorrect because polishing can release particles and sweeping is inappropriate. Option D is incorrect because floors must be cleaned on a regular schedule, at least daily, to maintain low microbial levels, not just when they look dirty. Concept extension. Environmental control also includes maintaining proper air exchange rates and pressure to assist in removing any remaining airborne particles. Question 7. An SP technician is working in the decontamination area where there is a high risk of being sprayed with contaminated fluids during manual cleaning. According to Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, 29 CFR 1910.1030, what specific personal protective equipment, PPE, is required to protect the technician's clothing and skin? A. Double-cloth surgical gowns and latex exam gloves. B. Fluid-resistant gowns with sleeves and heavy-duty decontamination gloves. C. Standard facility scrubs and plastic aprons without sleeves. D. Sterile operating room, or gowns and sterile gloves. Correct answer B. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. Per OSHA standards, the decontamination area requires PPE that is fluid resistant to protect the worker from bloodborne pathogens found in splashes and spills. Gowns must have sleeves to provide full arm protection, and heavy-duty gloves are used to resist punctures from sharp instruments. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because cloth gowns are not fluid resistant and will allow contaminants to soak through. Option C is incorrect because scrubs alone are not protective and sleeveless aprons leave the arms exposed to biohazards. Option D is incorrect because sterile or attire is intended to protect the patient, not to provide the heavy fluid and puncture resistance needed for the technician in decontamination. Concept extension. The donning, putting on, and doffing, taking off, sequence is strictly regulated to prevent self-contamination, with doffing being the most critical phase for technician safety. Question 8. Standard precautions serve as the primary defensive strategy in the SPD. What is the fundamental principle of this protocol? A. Only patients with known infectious diseases require high-level precautions. B. All patients must be treated as if their blood and body fluids are potentially infectious. C. Precautions are only necessary when dealing with high-risk orthopedic surgeries. D. Precautions should only be used if visible blood is present on an instrument. Correct answer B. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. Standard precautions eliminate the guesswork associated with identifying infectious patients. By treating every patient's blood and body fluids as a potential biohazard, technicians ensure a consistent and high level of protection, such as wearing PPE and practicing hand hygiene, for every task. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because many patients are asymptomatic or have undiagnosed infections. Option C is incorrect because all surgical instruments have the potential to carry disease, regardless of the specialty. Option D is incorrect because microscopic bioburden can be infectious even if the tool appears visually clean. Concept extension. This proactive strategy is a legal mandate under the OSHA bloodborne pathogen standard to protect healthcare workers from occupational exposure. Question 9. According to OSHA's bloodborne pathogen standard, 29 CFR 1910.1030, which of the following is not a requirement for the employer to provide to SP staff? A. Hepatitis B vaccines at no cost to the employee. B. Implementation of engineering controls to prevent exposures. C. Storage of medical records regarding exposure for only 3 months. D. A written exposure control plan, ECP, that is updated annually. Correct answer C. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. OSHA regulations are very specific about record keeping. Medical records for employees who have had an exposure incident must be kept for the duration of their employment plus 30 years, not just 3 months. This ensures long-term monitoring of potential health impacts. Trap analysis. Option A is a core OSHA requirement. Option B refers to physical barriers like sharps containers and specialized ventilation, which are mandatory. Option D is a mandatory living document that guides the facility's safety strategy. Concept extension. If an employee chooses to decline the hepatitis B vaccine, they must sign a formal declination form but can still request the vaccine later at no cost. Question 10. What is the primary technical method used by sterile processing technicians to interrupt the transmission of a causative agent from a reservoir to a susceptible host? A. Reporting every incident directly to OSHA. B. Wearing PPE only when in the break room. C. Eliminating the agent through cleaning, disinfection, and sterilization. D. Increasing the temperature in sterile storage above 75 degrees Fahrenheit 24 degrees Celsius. Correct answer C. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. Eliminating the causative agent is the most direct way to break the chain of infection. By performing technical precision in cleaning, disinfecting, and sterilizing, technicians remove or kill the microorganisms on medical devices, ensuring they are safe for the next patient. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because reporting to OSHA does not physically stop the transmission of germs. Option B is incorrect because PPE should be worn in work areas, not the break room. Option D is incorrect because increasing temperature in storage can degrade packaging and encourage microbial growth. Concept extension. This professional commitment to do the right thing to protect the patient, even when not supervised, is known as surgical conscience. Question 11. During an audit of the sterile storage area, a surveyor asks the manager to define the ultimate biological goal of processing surgical instruments. The manager explains that the goal is to achieve a state where all disease-causing microorganisms are completely absent. What is the clinical term for this state? A. Infection prevention. B. Asepsis. C. Healthcare-acquired infection, HAI, control. D. Decontamination. Correct answer B. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. Asepsis is defined as the absolute absence of disease-producing microorganisms. In the Sterile Processing Department, SPD, all workflows, environmental controls, and sterilization protocols are engineered to achieve and maintain this strict state of asepsis to protect the surgical patient from infections. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because infection prevention is a broad set of policies and practices, not the specific physical state of an object. Option C is incorrect because HAI control refers to administrative programs managing facility-wide infection rates. Option D is incorrect because decontamination is the process of rendering an item safe to handle, which only reduces bioburden but does not achieve total asepsis. Concept extension. Medical asepsis, clean technique, reduces microorganisms, while surgical asepsis, sterile technique, entirely eliminates them, including highly resistant bacterial spores. Question 12. An SP technician accidentally brushes a freshly sterilized vascular tray against a transport cart that just returned from the operating room, or. Despite the tray looking visually untouched, the technician immediately rejects it and sends it back to the decontamination area. This decision directly adheres to the fundamental directives known as the A. Principles of Asepsis. B. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, Bloodborne Pathogens Standard. C. Basics of Environmental Control. D. Standard Precautions. Correct answer A. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. The foundational principles of asepsis dictate that personnel must know what is dirty, clean, and sterile, keep these conditions strictly separate, and remedy any contamination immediately. By rejecting the compromised tray without hesitation, the technician demonstrates strict adherence to these principles and strong surgical conscience. Trap analysis. Option B is incorrect because OSHA standards focus primarily on protecting the worker from bloodborne diseases, not the sterility of the tray. Option C is incorrect because environmental control refers to facility engineering, HVAC, humidity, not behavioral handling of instruments. Option D is incorrect because standard precautions dictate how to handle infectious materials safely, whereas this scenario is about maintaining the sterile integrity of a processed item. Concept extension. The rule in sterile processing is, if in doubt, consider it contaminated. There is no middle ground for sterility. Question 13. A facility is ordering new puncture-resistant sharps containers and infectious waste bags for the decontamination area. To strictly comply with OSHA warning requirements, what specific color scheme must these items feature to alert staff of biohazards? A. Green/black. B. Orange/blue. C. Yellow/white. D. Red/orange. Correct answer D. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. Under the OSHA 29 CFR 1910.1030 bloodborne pathogen standard, all biohazard containers, warning labels, and signs must be fluorescent orange or orange-red to serve as a universal, highly visible warning of potentially infectious materials. This color coding ensures immediate recognition by all staff to prevent accidental exposure. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because green is typically used for recycling or general non-hazardous waste. Option B is incorrect because blue is often used for non-infectious pharmaceutical waste or general trash. Option C is incorrect. While yellow is used internationally for clinical waste, OSHA specifically mandates red/orange for bloodborne biohazards in the U.S. Concept extension. In addition to the specific color, these containers must prominently display the universal biohazard symbol, 3 interlocking circles. Question 14. The facilities engineering team is adjusting the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning (HVAC) system in the SPD. To prevent the airborne migration of contaminated aerosols into clean work zones, what specific air pressure setting is required for the decontamination area? A. Negative airflow with a minimum of 10 air exchanges per hour. B. Positive airflow with 4 air exchanges per hour. C. Filtered neutral airflow with 0 air exchanges. D. Positive airflow with a maximum temperature of 75 degrees Fahrenheit 24 degrees Celsius. Correct answer A. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. The decontamination area is the dirtiest zone in the SPD. ANSI/ASHRAE/ASH 170 standards mandate that it must have negative air pressure. This means air flows into the room from surrounding clean areas, preventing aerosolized pathogens from escaping. Additionally, a minimum of 10 air exchanges per hour is required to rapidly filter and remove airborne contaminants. Trap analysis. Option B is incorrect because positive air pressure is reserved for clean areas, like prep and pack, to push dust away. Option C is incorrect because a lack of air exchanges would cause toxic chemical fumes and bioburden to build up to dangerous levels. Option D is incorrect because positive airflow is forbidden in decontamination, and 75 degrees Fahrenheit 24 degrees Celsius is too warm. Decontamination must be kept between 60 degrees Fahrenheit and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Concept extension. Doors to the decontamination area must remain closed at all times to maintain this critical negative pressure differential. Question 15. A hospital administrator is mapping out the traffic control zones within the SPD to enforce proper dress codes. The clean assembly and packaging area, where surgical sets are prepared for sterilization, falls under which specific traffic control designation? A. Unrestricted area. B. Biohazard isolation area. C. Restricted area. D. Semi-restricted area. Correct answer D. Knowledge point explanation. Core rationale. Traffic control categorizes the SPD into specific zones based on the required level of hygiene. The clean assembly area is designated as a semi-restricted area. This means access is controlled, and anyone entering must wear specific facility-issued scrub attire and head covers to limit the introduction of environmental bioburden to clean instruments. Trap analysis. Option A is incorrect because unrestricted areas allow street clothes, e.g., staff break rooms, which are forbidden in clean assembly. Option B is incorrect as biohazard isolation applies to the decontamination area, not the clean side. Option C is incorrect because a restricted area, like an active operating room, requires additional attire, such as a surgical mask, which is generally not mandatory for routine prep and pack unless directed by specific facility policy. Concept extension. If a technician leaves the semi-restricted assembly area to go to an unrestricted area, like the cafeteria, they must wear a cover gown or change their scrubs before returning.